Morning. As you already know, Brian's not here, so you've got me. We hope that's a good thing. We'll know in about an hour here. I was a little nervous this week because I usually have a little more time to prepare than I did this week, so I'm really relying on God this morning. Brian's been doing the Daniel series, so we're going to step away from that this morning. And he's going to pick that back up again next week. So as I was thinking about this the last couple of days, God put something on my heart, and I'm hoping that the message is something that will help us as a church family, and you can leave with something today. Today we're going to talk about how we grow and how we learn. I remember the day that I was born, I looked over at my mom, and I said, I'm hungry. I think I'll walk down to the cafeteria and get me a cheeseburger. It may take me a little while because my legs are short, and I may stop off at the restroom on the way. Now, some of you are laughing. Why are you laughing? Didn't you all walk, talk, and eat on the day you were born? I did. I was that exceptional child. No, seriously. How do we learn these things? We're not just born knowing how to walk and how to talk and how to be a person. We have to learn those things. And as we think about that, I want us to think about who taught those things to us. Did at 12 months old we just automatically wake up and say, I'm 12 months old, I'm supposed to walk today, and start walking? At 18 months we say, okay, we're supposed to start speaking today. So because I live in the United States, I'm supposed to speak English. Those in France start speaking French. Of course not. We have to learn these things. And as a child, we look at our parents, and they probably are the ones that spend the most of the time teaching us stuff. They sit in front of us for hours saying, Mama, Dada, hoping that that'll be the first word that we speak. And then they get down on the floor with you and try to show you how to crawl and hoping that you'll imitate what they do. Put your favorite toy out in front of you, hoping that will inspire you to pull forward and towards it and figure out how to move. Then we get a little older and we go to school. And at school we have teachers. They teach us to write, math, read, all the subjects we're supposed to learn in school. As we get a little older, we get that first job, and we have a boss or a trainer that teaches us how to do the job. As you look back at your life, I want you to think about who are these people that have taught you things. And are these people only those people that are designated to be a teacher, like your parents, your school teacher, your boss? Are those the only people that you learn from? I'm the oldest of four. I have a younger sister and two younger brothers. And I'm sure that I taught them a lot of stuff. And since we've already established that I was an exceptional child, I'm sure it was all good stuff. They're not here to contradict it, so we'll leave it at that. But I do remember, teaching my brothers and sisters little things. And I think we all have those moments where we've either seen a picture of it or experienced it, where you walk into a room and you see two small children, maybe one's 6'4", and one's helping the other one do something. Maybe they're practicing tying their shoes. Maybe the older one's trying to teach the younger one how to play a game because they like to play the game and they need somebody to play with, so we teach the younger sibling how to play. Or maybe they get a little more industrious and the older one is showing the younger one how to pull the chair over to the counter, climbing the chair up onto the countertop, reaching in the cabinet where the cookies are stored. So we learn things from each other. And this 6-year-old is definitely not the authority of being a teacher. Or as we're older and we're at that job and we hear that the new employee is coming around and we know they've been through their 3 days of training, so we know they know everything and they're ready to go. So what happens when that new employee comes out? You're not the trainer, but do you not take time to show them what it really like to do the job? Here's the shortcuts, here where things really are. They didn't tell you this, they never tell you this in training. And why do you do that? Do you like this person? You probably don't even know this person, but you're willing to train them because it makes your life easier, makes their life easier, and the job is easier. Now you may be wondering why I'm talking about this on a Sunday morning and how it fits into a Sunday morning teaching. Notice I didn't use preaching or sermon. Those words still scare me. I want us to look at us in this room as a family, because we are a family. We're a Scottsdale Christian Church family. We're part of God's family. And I think, like all families, we have all ages of Christians in this room. We have those that are seeking and trying to figure out what it is to be a Christian. They have lots of questions and looking for answers and possibilities. We have those that have been a Christian for a few years, and those that are still baby Christians, all the way up to those that are very mature Christians who have a lot to share. But I think we look at our church family very differently than we do our normal daily family in the terms of teaching and learning from each other. We don't take our responsibility of teaching as serious in our church family as we do our everyday family. We tend to rely on our pastors, our Bible study teachers, our children's ministers to do that for us. Why do we do that? I think we think we're not qualified. We're not qualified to teach about God, because that's something very important. We're not qualified to teach about Jesus. We're not qualified to teach what it is to be a Christian. I don't have a Bible degree. I haven't been years of teaching. That's what we think. We think that's what Brian does. But we're wrong. It is your responsibility to help teach those around you, to teach your family about God, about Jesus, what it is to be a Christian. A person who's been a Christian for a few years definitely has something they can teach someone just starting their walk. And someone that's very mature can extremely help someone that's just starting their walk. And I think we're all at different levels at different times, and I don't think we ever get to a point where we need to stop learning about God. So at this time, on this hand, we may be learning and seeking from someone that's more mature than us, while at the same time we're over here teaching someone what we've learned in the past. And we can do this simultaneously. You don't have to wait till you get that Bible degree before you teach someone at a different level. So we do this simultaneously. We teach and we learn and we share, and we, just like in a family, just like you do as children, as adults, a new employee comes in. We have to take that same responsibility with our church family as we do our worldly families and our worldly surroundings. We don't have slides and stuff this morning, so you're just going to have to find Ephesians on your own. We're going to be looking at Ephesians 4. I don't know the page number either. I know it's in the back of the book. I know it's in the New Testament. I think it's after Philippians. Okay, somebody's shaking their head. I don't have a Bible degree, so I don't know all this stuff like Brian. Chapter 4, verses 11 through 16. 8:28. So Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, and the teachers to equip his people for works of service, so that the body of Christ may be built up until we all reach unity in the faith and in the knowledge of the Son of God and become mature, attaining to the whole measure of the fullness of Christ. We're going to stop there a minute. Where do you fit into this? What part of this do you play? Do you see anything in there that you take as a responsibility of you? What if we were talking about this in the context of your family, of equipping your child for life? Would you feel you had a part then? Would you feel like it was your responsibility to teach? What about if we were talking about your brother or your sister or your best friend? As in life, we all play a part. We all play teacher. We all play student. And we learn about God, about Jesus from one another. We all are called to be a teacher. Let's continue on verse 14. Then we will no longer be infants, tossed back and forth by the waves and blown here and there by every wind of teaching and by the cunning and craftiness of people in their deceptive scheming. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become, in every respect, the mature body of Him who is the head, that is Christ. From Him, the whole body, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, grows and builds itself up in love as each part does its work. Let's look at that last verse again. From Him, the whole body, all of us, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, helping each other, grows and builds itself up in love as each part does its work. As each part does its work. You are a part. You must do your part. We can't rely on others to do that for us. Just as you can't rely on others in your life to do it for you, as a parent can't rely on others to teach their children how to walk, how to talk, how to feed themselves, how to go to the bathroom. They can't just put the child over and say, I'm having nothing to do with the teaching of this child. That's probably you wouldn't see that happen. And if you did see that happen, what are we going to do as society? We're going to step in. Because you can't just do that to a child and hope that they get it. It's just natural for us in life to teach, to share. Who's got a favorite card game that you've learned recently and you think about, okay, I love this game, but nobody I know knows how to play it. So what do? You teach your friends how to play the game so you can have fellowship together. It's unrealistic to believe that Brian, as our lead pastor, can take care of the spiritual needs and teachings of all 250 of us. There's just not enough time for him to spend that one-on-one time with each and every one of us to teach us everything there is to know about being a Christian. And two, I think we learn in different ways. Sometimes we do need that formal teaching, and sometimes we just need an example shown. Something simple. Is it your part to do that? In Matthew 28, Jesus gives us our instructions for what we're supposed to do. It's called the Great Commission. Jesus said, "Go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you." He wasn't talking just to the pastors and the church staff and the Bible school leaders and the children's ministers. These instructions are for everyone. We are to teach each other about God, about Jesus, about being a Christian. Are you doing your part? I recently saw a movie called War Room. Very good movie. If you hadn't seen it, you need to see it. I'm not going to give away the whole movie or anything major about it, because there's several themes throughout the movie, and one of them involves the main character, Miss Clara. She's reached a point, she's an older woman, and she's reached a point in her life where she has a lot of knowledge about God. She's had a lot of experience with God. She realizes the importance of having God in her life and the joy that it brings her. Well, in the movie, she decides that she needs to share this with someone. And I think this is kind of where this sermon thinking came from, because I saw it a couple weeks ago. So she goes out purposely seeking out someone that she can share this with. She finds this person and she starts sharing who God is, what God can do, how God can make you feel. And as this person accepts this stuff and begins to change, and she sees the changes in her, she realizes that what a joy she has from sharing this with someone else. Not only is the person that's receiving it enjoying it and having joy and realizing that life is a lot easier, she realizes how joyful it is to do the teaching and the sharing. And she realizes the benefits of it. If she had known this stuff earlier in her life, maybe she would have saved herself some heartaches. So she sees the potential of this in this younger person as not only the joy that she's getting, but maybe she won't make the same choices that I made. But I think the biggest surprise of all was the joy of the sharing it for her. I think we're cheating not only others, but we're cheating God when we don't share Him with people and teach them what it is to be a Christian and experience the joy and the excitement of actually affecting someone's life for eternity. Teaching someone to tie their shoes when they're 4 years old is very beneficial. But is it going to affect their life for eternity? Teaching someone to walk or talk or any of those things are important, but do they affect their life for eternity? So what's the most important thing that we should be teaching each other? I think about my own life, and I think about my time here at Scottsdale Christian Church. I've been here a little over 8 years now, and through that time, a lot of people have invested in me. And I look back at those people, and I could give you a long list of who they are and what they've done. But I am going to talk about one. I embarrassed him during the first service, but he's cool with it now. One of the first people I met here was Steve DeWolf. When I came in, he kind of took me under his wing and taught me a lot of things. But one of the things that he taught me, and one of the biggest lessons that he taught me, is something that he probably did not even realize he was teaching me at the time. He spent time with me. He would talk with me. And as we would do things, I found myself a lot of times having meals with him. And every time we sat down to have a meal, we prayed. Even in public. He was not ashamed to be a Christian or for people to see that he was a Christian. And as I would come to him with concerns or things that were stressing me out or whatever, his response was, yes, he gave me great advice and helped me talk it out, but he always prayed with me. He didn't tell me, I'll put you on my prayer list. I'll pray for you. Any of those things that we tell people, he actually took my hands and set me down and prayed with me right then, right there. And throughout the time I've seen him, others come up to where we were talking and in different settings, and he would do the same for them. Let's pray about it. He taught me what prayer looked like. And now, being in this position, being on staff here, it's amazing how easy it is for me to be able just to pray with somebody. And I think that example came from Steve. Now, he never set me down and gave me this 8-week course with the book to fill out and all that stuff and taught me how to pray. And in fact, I knew how to pray. God, I need, I want, I deserve. Please hurry, I need it now. Is it here yet? Amen. I think we all know how to pray for ourselves. And I think that's very easy. I don't think we always do it right, as in my example there. And that was very much what some of my prayers were. But I think we find ourselves lacking in that ability to do it one-on-one with someone. And sometimes we just need that example of somebody to show us how easy it is. It's not setting me down and with a 12-book study. It's just showing me what your life looks like. Sometimes it's that simple. Throughout the Bible, it talks about how we're supposed to build each other up and encourage them and pray for each other. And I think that's one of the things we miss a lot of the time. We're glad to go to a Bible study where there's a group of us and we can all step forward and somebody in the front teaches us. But what about those one-on-ones? I think that's where we learn the most. That's where the most intimate stuff is learned. It's where we get to see it and experience it along with the learning. 1 Thessalonians 5:11 says, encourage each other and build each other up. Pretty straightforward. One of my favorites is Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, one person sharpens another. The only way that works is if we work together, side by side, teaching and learning with each other. And as we do that, we get stronger, we get more encouraged, we get bolder, we get braver about it. We're allowed to go. It gives us the courage to sit down in a restaurant with a group of friends and say, we're going to pray in public. 1 Thessalonians 2:8 says, we loved you so much that we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well, because you have became so dear to us. Do we think of our church family in that way? We love you so much that we're delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well, because you have become so dear to us. Are we dear to each other? I think we are, but are we taking that step that affects someone for eternity? Or are we just hoping somebody else does it so I don't have to? Now that I've hopefully got you at least thinking about how important it is and hopefully how easy it is to share God, to share Jesus and what it's like to be a Christian, how to teach, how to learn, I want to make it a little easier for you to seek out those people who you can teach and learn from. Because it can't happen here on Sunday morning. We arrive here on Sunday morning and have the best intentions of seeking out people and making connections, but it's very unrealistic for us actually to think that we can accomplish a lot on a Sunday morning. Once we're here, there's too much going on. There's those 2 or 3 people that you have to talk to because there's something going on. You've got to get the kids checked in and them to their room, and all of a sudden, before you realize it, Everett's starting the music. And, got to go have a seat. I'll do it after church. And service ends, and you say your hellos and goodbye, and you may have a little conversation over here about something that you think is important, and it probably may be. And you remember, oh, I got to pick up the kids. So you go grab the kids, and then you remember, oh, yeah, we're meeting so-and-so for lunch, or we got to go home and cook lunch, or it's time for the ball game. And there is, the Cardinals do play a little early today. And as you're pulling out of the parking lot, you realize, I didn't get it done. Oh, there's next Sunday. I'll do it next Sunday. But what happens next Sunday? It's the same. And over time, and it's these things we miss, the idea and the thought of it just slips away. We have to do more. Our life groups and D groups are a great place for this to happen. I'm going to put my plug in for my groups here. The groups are a smaller group of people, so you get this chance not only to study the Bible together, but you get a chance to get to know each other a little bit more and on a more intimate level. It's fun to watch these groups as we've been doing the life groups a little over a year now. We've had D groups for a couple of years now. And every time I've started one of these groups, to watch these strangers, in most cases, come together in a room, and the first few weeks it's very awkward. And then as the weeks go on, you start seeing conversations going on over here. You see here these two went and had lunch together. Or when a tragedy strikes one of our members in our group, how they've come together and rallied around that person. It's just been amazing to watch some of these things happen in these groups. If you're not involved in a group, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. So I guess I'm asking you today just to think about it. Where can you become more like Christ in your teaching area? Another great place for us to learn about people and find those connections is serving with them. If you work together side by side on some ministry, you're going to have a common goal. You're going to have some downtime where you get to talk about things about your life. If you're working with the children over in the ministry, that's a great way to find people with like interest. You get a chance to know those people. Take these opportunities once you're in a group or and serving alongside one to find someone that you can teach to, that you can share your life with. Find someone that you can learn from. Share your joy and be a part of God's family. Bring things you have to others so that you can share it. God put us all together in this room because he knew we are the ones to help each other. You're not here by accident in this room with this church family. Someone in this room you're supposed to be teaching. Someone in this room you're supposed to be learning from. Someone in this room you're supposed to be serving along beside. Don't hide your light. Don't hide your joy. Remember in Matthew 5:14, 16, it kind of goes back to that little song that we learned as a kid, This Little Light of Mine. It says, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Don't hide your light. Don't hide your God. Don't hide Jesus. You have to share him. You have to seek him. You have to experience him as a family. Don't have any sermon notes, but inside your bulletin there is a little challenge that I want us to do. Not for today, but I want you to spend some time thinking about it. I want you to look back over your Christian life, and I want you to think about the people that have influenced you, the people that have made an impact on your life, people that you've learned things from, like Steve and me. I want you to make that list out of all those different people, however small or big. Sometimes the smallest things were the most impact on our lives. And once you get that list made, I want you to go along beside their name, and I want you to write out what they taught you or what you learned from them. Next, this is a scary part. I want you to find someone to teach these things to. Just one person. You don't have to make a list. Just find one person to teach this stuff to. And finally, I want you to look around you at the people that you're serving with and meeting with. I want you to find someone that has something that you're missing. Maybe they are better at reading the Bible. Maybe they are better at praying. Maybe they just a really happy person, and you know their financial situations and all that stuff, and they shouldn't be happy, but they are. So how do they have this joy? Why are they so happy to be a Christian, and why are they always talking about God, and how can they do it? Find one of these people and ask them, hey, will you help me? Will you sit down with me? Will you train me? Will you talk with me? And if you're one of those people that get asked, do it. Accept that question. But more importantly, you've got to pray about this, because this is something that could be a little scary. So I want you to pray that God opens these doors to you from the teaching side to the learning side, that he gives you wisdom, that he gives you the courage to follow through on it. Be the light. Be the seeker. Be the student. Can you imagine if everybody in this room did that, how it would affect our church family? How it would affect our personal families? How it would affect our friends outside of this church? How it would affect this community if each one of us took one person under our wing and taught them what someone else has already taught us. Sharing that time with one another, one-on-one, sometimes that is the most precious thing that we can do for someone else. We all have different abilities and strengths. God sets us up in different ways. Sometimes there is a teacher, and maybe that teacher is not you, but you can still teach. Maybe we're not all great students, and we can read the Bible 10 times and still not comprehend and remember verses and all that kind of stuff, but we can still learn what it is and how it is and see what it is in action. And as we're working together, learning to care about one another, just imagine how the joy that you're going to have sharing, the joy they're going to have receiving. That's what God has called us all for here in this room, to be a church family, to love on one another, to share with one another, and to teach one another. Don't let your light go out. Now, I can't wait to hear the stories that everybody is going to come back and tell me about all this. It's going to be fun to hear and see the reactions to people and how they are affected by all this if we carry it out. Now, every week at this church, we give an invitation, and today we're going to do the same thing. If you're here for the first time and you're seeking what it is to be a Christian, this invitation is for you. We've got people that would gladly sit down with you with the Bible and walk you through what it takes to become a Christian and set you up with some of these people. If you feel God tugging on your heart today to do more, this invitation is for you too. Don't let that calling or that opportunity be missed. Step out in faith, step out in God, and know that Jesus promises in the next line of the Great Commission is, I will be with you till the very end. He will be with you when you're doing these things for him. He's your right-hand man. So if you have anything that you need to sit down and talk with someone today, I just ask you to stand at this time and come down during this song.